So if you've not attended the British Islam Conference before, you're in for a real treat. This is not a typical Muslim conference where the presenter speaks and you are required to simply listen and absorb. This may rattle your brain cells. You may not agree with everything you hear. At times, it may even make you angry. It will challenge the way you see the world. You may love what you hear, or you may disagree vehemently. It may just be food for thought, or it may stir up a real passion for change from within. You're going to be pushed and pulled intellectually, but whatever your emotion, there will be something you learn this weekend, either about the subject area, about the people around us, or indeed about yourselves. There will be 3 or 4 parallel sessions running throughout the course of the weekend simultaneously. You will pick which session you want to attend. I know there will be times that you are torn, but we are recording all the sessions, so any you miss that can be viewed again later online. Enjoy the ride, absorb the experience, and relish in the opportunity. I'm sure you will be challenged today. I want to introduce you to the NH team. Our founding chair, Rabiha Hannan, I can't see it then, there you go. Our fellow co-founder and trustee, Navid Siddiqui, you guys can't see either. Has he left the room? Oh, there he is, very modestly sitting in the back. I wanted to also personally thank our brilliant and hard-working team. Soraya, who's been involved in a lot of the planning and the coordinating of today, standing at the front there. Manish, who's been working incredibly hard with all things to do with media and communication, who, as I've noted before, is sitting at the computer. Sheikh Salah, one of our researchers, is he here yet? No? And to all of our wonderful volunteers and helpers, camera crew, photography, catering, registration, who are here today. So why do we do this, the British Islam Conference? One, because we want to create an open and inclusive space where we can have healthy conversations about what's really happening today. That's why we call it the marketplace of ideas. We don't feel that there are enough spaces like this. For Islam to flourish, we need openness and we need creativity. 2, we want to bring this conversation honesty. An honesty that we don't always find in a community that feels it's under attack, and fears that by admitting that there are problems, it will face further scrutiny and harm. We realise that the task before us is not an easy one, but also that if we don't face those challenges, be open and upfront about them, they will cause us far more problems in the long term. And 3, we want to recognise that some of the human interpretations of Islam that were made hundreds of years ago in faraway lands, in different social, cultural and political contexts, are just not providing us with the solutions we need to move forward today. Indeed, sometimes they pull us back. So we need to keep re-looking at the Quran and the Sunnah and deriving new and relevant meanings from them. But also to do so with a sense of confidence, recognising that this doesn't move us away from Islam, but takes us back to the authentic roots of thinking and questioning that the Quran constantly reminds us to do. Why then do you not think? Do you not ponder? Do you not reflect? Do you follow blindly? We're a small team, but we pack quite a punch when it comes to doing work that we're passionate about. And we are passionate about the work of New Horizons, because every day we see and we feel the need of its importance and urgency. In a world where we hear increasingly the narrative of them and us, a rise in intolerance and bigotry, a world that appears to be becoming increasingly polarised, I want to make 3 short points that I think would be good for us to reflect upon this weekend. Hope, solidarity, and compassion. Hope. Despite the many challenges we have today, there are still far more people living in peace than ever before, despite the difficulties. There is less poverty around the world. More children have access to education. More people receive immunisations and live free of disease and survive to old age. I highlight these things not because I want to pretend that we have a perfect world and that we don't have any problems, but because I want us to move away from feeling helpless, that we're in this downward spiral of doom and gloom, waiting for someone else to free us from the shackles of despair, because we've lost all signs of hope. Because feeling helpless is debilitating. It disempowers you, makes you focus on the can'ts rather than the cans. But with hope, we can begin to see ourselves as agents of change, identify our strengths, and recognise what we can do rather than focus on what we can't. Because each and every one of us always has the ability to make a positive difference, whatever our situation or ability. But we must feel that there is a point in trying. The Quran tells us, do not lose hope. The one who loses hope has succumbed to the work of the devil. So that's what I wanted to start with, hope. Secondly, solidarity. I want us to look towards the idea of working together. The wonderful poet, writer and activist Maya Angelou said, hate, it has caused a lot of problems in the world, but has not solved one yet. For too long, the narrative for some has been, if we want our community to succeed, then it may need to be to the detriment of someone else. Or for us to feel safe, then we should attack someone else and make them feel more unsafe. When in actuality, we will only ever feel safe and succeed when we recognise we're in it together. All of us, regardless of race, gender, religion, disability, sexual orientation. When we look at the major crisis that we're facing as a world today, climate change, migration, the coronavirus, the risk of resistance to antibiotics, the threat of cyber wars, an ageing population, they are all problems that humanity as a whole share, all issues that we have to work together to resolve. We can't do it alone in our isolated communities. We must work together. And thirdly, compassion. It's for us to question, what does Islam really mean to us? I began with the words, Assalamu alaikum, peace be with you. And when Muslims begin anything, they are required to say, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of God, the most merciful, the compassionate. And yet the actions of Muslims don't always reflect that. The love, the mercy, the kindness with which the God describes, rahmah, compassion, mawadda, love, are at the root of our faith. Without a return to that, without being known for that, we will make very little headway amongst the noise that surrounds anything that we do with Islam today. For the future of this country, let alone for the future of Muslims in this country, we need to find a way for people to get along together and understand each other better.